Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the new, complete Claudio Arrau Warner edition. Now, this complete Warner edition has in it 24 CDs. I mean, it's really, really complete. So the question is, how does it compare with this, the 12 CD Icon Claudio Arrau Warner edition? Well, this one has twice as many discs as this one. But I have, the work list here, and we're going to go through this here so we can do a detailed comparison, because that's really the issue. Arrau was one of those artists I follow. He was one of the great, great pianists. Jed Disler reviewed this box very nicely on ClassicsToday.com for all you Classics Today insiders. Do go have a look at his review. I agree with it completely. I have nothing to say beyond what Jed said, other than Arrau really needs to be heard. Whatever he did, not all of it is great. It's like everybody else, but he was one of the major keyboard giants of the 20th century, and so he's worth hearing. Some of this stuff he recorded a million times, which is kind of irritating. So let's open this up and go through it. And oh, pray God, there's a track listing. That would really, really be nice. Oh, look, it's nice and it's like orange. No, I'm just kidding. We have some original jacket stuff. And oh, yes, it's lovely. Just lovely. So, let's see here. No, of course they don't have a track. They have an index. You have an index. Big help. All right. Well, we have an index. We're going through the discs, a pile at a time here. And then I have to compare it with that. Wish me luck. Okay, the first 5 discs look like this. They are things that were on 78s. Sounds like a Jeopardy question, isn't it? They give you a list of works, then you go, what is things that were on 78s? So you've got, it's just lots of little sniglets. I mean, millions of little, 78-bit things. Everything. You have Beethoven Piano Sonata, number 7. Well, that's a good one. Some Debussy, Granados, more Beethoven, the Moonlight Sonata, Liszt, Chopin, all the usual stuff. More Beethoven sonatas, The Hunt, and the Brahms First Piano Concerto with Basil Cameron. There you go. Remember that thing? Yeah, I remember that thing. And it's not bad, actually. And let's see, Chopin and Schumann's Carnival. I'm just talking about the major works I'm running through here. Chopin's Ballade number 3. Is that one on it? Yes. And the Scherzo number 3. And let's see, more Chopin and Schubert and Liszt and Chopin and all of those fun people. Okay, fine. Those are the first 5. And we are now done with that. Then we start to get into, mono stuff and other things. Now we have, concertos. Many, many concertos. These are actually, we get 2 Beethoven cycles in here. Believe it or not. You get the first Beethoven concerto cycle with the Philharmonia and Alceo Galliera. Let's see. Well, here's Piano Concerto number 4 on one disc. I think Arrau was always great, number 4. I really do. Although the interpretations vary widely because he recorded it 4 or 5 times. I mean, there's a couple here on EMI. There were at least 2 on Phillips. There's the Haitink and the Colin Davis, But it was one of his signature works, no question about it. So that's lovely. And then we have, we're already at CD 7, Chopin, Etudes, Opus 10, and the Allegro de Concert. Again, this is why I don't want to get into the details. I know that annoys you, and I feel guilty about it too. I feel like I'm kind of welching on my responsibility. But when you have a critic like Jed doing this stuff and doing it very thoroughly and very intelligently, I don't really feel the need to second guess, number one, unless I disagree strongly with something, and I really don't. I think maybe his stereo EMI Beethoven concertos better than Jed does, maybe. He kind of liked the Haitink ones better, I think. But, these are tiny, tiny differences. So I'm not going to worry about that. And then we've got, let's see, Chopin Next Etudes, Opus 25. Yes, the next set. And the 3 Nouvelles Etudes. So you've got these really are, early Arrau, beautiful performances. And, before he acquired that sort of serious, so some people would consider sententious heaviness that affected much of his later work. It was always with gorgeous tone, so you could get away with it. But it's good to hear these earlier performances for sure. Oh, we're already in the stereo world. Schubert, Moment Musical, numbers 1 through 6, and a couple other short pieces, and some other goodies. And the mono version of number 4 of the Moment Musical. And let me see, what do we got in here? Wait a minute, I want to look. Oh, I see. Okay, yes, of course. Well, most of this stuff, I mean, this leaves out all the 78s, of course, and it does include the Beethoven set with Galliera and some other things, but we'll get to them. Okay, fine. So. Schubert, Klavierstücke, D946, and the Wanderer Fantasy. The Wanderer Fantasy, as Jed pointed out, has some clunky moments, but really works itself up into a fabulous finale, so that's okay. And what's we got here? CD11, the Waldstein Sonata. Yay! Oh, I love the Waldstein Sonata. I don't care who does it. You know, Arrau always took the slow movement at a very measured tempo, which I kind of like because, you know, it's you know, that thing. And if you do it, for some reason, that pulsation has a little bit more impact if you give it some time to register. And I think Arrau always did that enormously well. Even in his earlier period, he understood the rhythm of it. You know what I mean? And then we've got the Piano Sonata number 28, which is fabulous. And let's see, that's number 10, 11, number 12. Beethoven Piano Concerto number 3 with Galliera. And the Les Adieux Sonata, which is quite good. Yes. I mean, Arrau's Beethoven is also always a wonderful thing. Now, so far, what have we got here? Well, the piano concerti are all here at the beginning, the Waldstein and Les Adieux. And then Piano Sonatas 28, 31, 32, the Appassionata, 7, 24, and 22. Okay, so that's Beethoven. And all of that's going to be in here, plus some. So let's do the next pile. We're already halfway through this, so it's all right. The Grieg and Schumann piano concertos. Well, he remade these, and you might like the remakes better. I kind of do, because they're like with the concerto, but they're also very measured performances. These, as usual, are a little spunkier. But he does them both beautifully. He really does. Again, he treats these works with great seriousness. You know, he doesn't just toss them off as virtuoso fluffernutters. I mean, he really, really plays them and makes them mean something. So it's lovely. Then we've got these other Beethoven piano sonatas that we talked about, 30, 31, 32, which are gorgeous. He did late Beethoven wonderfully well. He always did. And then here's this live Klemperer series of Beethoven piano concertos. You've got numbers, let's see, 3, 4, and 5 with Klemps. These are live recordings, 1957 in mono. The sound is live 1957 in mono from the Royal Festival Hall. But it's fun to hear Klemperer and Beethoven always. And it's fun to hear Arrau and Beethoven always. So what's not to love? I mean, come on. It'd be just churlish to fetch about, the crappy sound or but the performances are very good. Beethoven Piano Concerto number 1, Sonata number 24. This is with Galliera, naturally. Piano Concerto number 5 with Galliera. There it is. See, look at these lovely, original jackets. Aren't they fun? You get to see them all. And Piano Concerto number 2 with Sonata number 7. So that's that. We've already talked about Beethoven. More Beethoven sonatas. We have the C minor variations, which are also in here. And let's see, the Appassionata we talked about in number 22. Sonata 22. So there you go. They're also in here. And we're making progress. Now, this is the rest of it, actually. I mean, Beethoven is sort of a lot of it. And this is that it? Yeah, that's it. We've had a lot of Beethoven. We got to do the Brahmses somewhere here. The Chopin Piano Sonata number 3 with the Fantasy in F minor. So that's a beautiful record, and look at the nice little portrait thing there. Isn't that cute? Like a cameo. And what happened to Brahms? Oh, Brahms is the end. I said, where's the Brahms? It's at the end. Tchaikovsky. Piano Concerto number 1. Well, this is probably his best shot at that, I would say. I mean, because his later ones I found rather sluggish and uninteresting, comparatively speaking. And the Mendelssohn, the Weber Concertstück. I love the Weber Concertstück. I mean, it's such a great, underappreciated piece. It's really too short. See, it's only about like 15 or 17 minutes long, even in this performance. Well, it's 11 plus 6. All right, so 17, 18 minutes. You don't get that much bang for your buck, but you get a lot of bang. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, does it? I mean, it packs a lot into a small space. It's programmatic. It's about a chatelaine who's waiting for her hubby, her boyfriend, to return home from battle, and she hallucinates that he's going to die, and she goes crazy, and she passes out. Then she hears military drums in the background and military trumpets, and he's back, he's alive. She jumps up, and then they just whoop it up at the end. Oh, what a great piece. Terrific. Okay, then we get the 2 Brahms concerti, 1 and 2. Now, these are the performances with the Philharmonia and Giulini. And you would think that Arrau and Giulini were a match made in heaven. You would, wouldn't you? But I find these to be a little bit on the stodgy side. I think Abato's later recordings were better, the Phillips recordings. I really, really do. Some might disagree. I don't know. Sometimes you don't need double the seriousness. Of course, his later ones were with Heiting, I think. So, I mean, you're doubling the seriousness, but, Heiting was more self-effacingly serious than Giulini was more sort of, in-your-face serious. I don't know. All I can tell you is they're good performances. Some people swear by them. I find the later ones to be more effective. It's your choice. Now, of all of that, what about the rest that's in here? Well, the Brahms Piano Concerto, the Weber, the Tchaikovsky, the Grieg, the Schubert stuff, the Wanderer Fantasy, the Concertstücken, and that stuff, and the Moment Musicaux, the Chopin Piano Sonata No. 3 in Fantasy, Chopin Etudes, Allegro de Concert, the Schumann Piano Concerto, Carnival, Chopin, and Debussy. Where was that stuff? Did I miss a disc? Wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm not going completely crazy. Schumann. Let's look at Schumann. Oh, Carnival's here. Complete, except number 9. Yeah, I know. And the Piano Concerto's in here. It's CD2 and CD13. So let's make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, CD2 is the Mono 78 Carnival. Right, we did talk about that, didn't we? And number 13 is the Schumann Piano Concerto. Yeah, of course, the Grieg of the Schumann we talked about. So, yeah, we're okay. And this last disc, I suspect, wait a minute, is coming from that early stuff. See booklet for details. Oh, God. The way they do these things, right? It's enough to make you go crazy. Okay, here's the booklet. Let's find the details. Carnival is 1939. Yes, it's the old stuff, just to make sure that there wasn't like a spurious newer one that they managed to slip in here that they forgot here. So that's it. The complete Arrau Warner stuff. What are the differences? Well, the differences are really very simple. Most of the early 78 stuff is not in here, except for that last disc. And the duplicative Beethoven concerto performances are in here. And some other things like that, where you get 2 versions, because, they tell you. And so, do you need this? Well, if you have this, unless you're a hardcore Arrauian, I would say, frankly, you don't. Like I said, I'm a sort of a hardcore Arrauian. I want this stuff because I want the early things, and there's a lot of them, and and the duplicate Beethoven stuff with Klemperer is fun to have, and some other things. So it works. What they've done, of course, is not couple these quite as generously. So the expansion from 12 discs to 24 discs is a little bit of an illusion. They're making a bit of extra bucks, like having a disc that has only Beethoven's 4th Piano Concerto on it. And that's also part of the difference. Possibly the difference is not 12 discs, probably more like 6 or 7, if they had coupled everything the same way. So there you go. Let me shove this back where it belongs, and I leave it to you to decide what floats your boat. I mean, Arrau was one of the greats. Like I keep saying, I would not criticize anyone for wanting to duplicate or get both of these. But is it essential? Honestly, no. Is it ever when they reissue stuff that's been issued a million times? Not usually, right? So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.